during the week I get phone calls all day, administrative work, paying bills, not paying bills, all that stuff. But anyway, what I want to talk about today is our PianoDisc installation. This is a piano I just finished for John. John is in Georgia somewhere, I guess. He's been waiting for his piano, and he has a PianoDisc low-profile system put on his Yamaha C3 along with a Pro Record with mute rail and tone module. So one of the things that I want to do is talk about what I do that's special here, and for you to look for if you're considering having a PianoDisc done and you are considering having maybe somebody else do it, and what the differences are with mine, okay? Because I spend a lot of time with making a very neat installation and not having wires everywhere, as you can see, and a piano that's actually easy to work on for a technician on the other end in case anything happens. And one of the things that that's very important that I do that makes a nice tidy installation. If you notice, we have a volume control box over here, okay? That attenuates the control of the volume of the piano versus the background music. And as you see from here, obviously we have to have wires that go from the front of the piano to the back where all the hardware is. On this side of the piano, we have the Pro Record control box here that allows you to change your sounds and your volume and plug your headphones in. And then this is the control for the mute, actually. So you also have wires from here that need to go to the back of the piano where all the hardware is. So you have these two control boxes with a lot of wiring. And what we do when we do our installations is we route out a notch here so that it goes underneath the pedal log. Okay, so you don't have these wires going from here over everything all sloppy. So we notch out this, goes underneath the pedal log into a hole here. Okay, and then if the camera comes around, then the wires come out of here. Okay, they're nice and flat here, and then they go through this little notch because before we put the key bed back on, we notch out this hole here, and I do the same thing down at the other end for the wires coming. We also replace these here because when we do our installations, these have to come out a lot of times, but we replace them. And what this does here, this locks down the back of the action so it doesn't flop around and get out of place. So these get replaced back in as well, and these are from the factory. Down at this end over here, you see this is the wire that plugs into the keyboard, so plugs into the keyboard sensor, and this is the mute rail. One of the things I do, I also install an extra brace here that prevents loss of motion. So when we move the lever, it moves. And without this brace over here, if I move this lever, it would pull it down, and then you'd get basically what's called loss of motion, and you wouldn't get as good a response when you move the lever back and forth. So anyway, this is the mute rail, and that's how that works. And then again, we run our wire up through the hole here. All our wiring goes through a notch and then back inside, back out of the piano over here to all the hardware that you see. Our notch, you can barely see it. And the other thing that's very important is that if you ever had to have service done to this piano, a lot of times technicians might look at this and they'd say, my God, how do I work on this thing? You know, because you have all the wires inside. Well, everything is set up so it's quick. It's a quick disconnect. You can reach in and you can unplug everything. I have so that the wires will come down, and you don't have to worry about removing all this hardware. If any technician needs to service this, they just need to call me and I'll explain how it's done. It makes it very, very simple. Anyway, this is the cable for the mute rail. I'll explain what all the other components are. This is the power supply. This is your CPU. This is the Airport Express that allows you to operate the piano wirelessly with your iPad or any other computer device or anything. This is your IQ. This is a speaker. I know it says QRS. I don't really want to get into that, but it's a great little speaker, and it puts out a lot of sound. This is your power strip. This is what allows you to turn the piano on and off. Now, I have had some technicians mention to me, well, why do you put this over here, you know, when it's supposed to be hidden underneath or whatever? Well, the thing is that when you have this piano on, you want to be able to tell really that it's on and that everything is working. And what happens is that if this is hidden, you can't really see the LED lights. The other thing too is that when they give me these systems, they give me these with Velcro. So, and they want me to use the Velcro, but I've had these boxes actually fall down and be dangling with the wires of the Velcro. So what I use instead of Velcro, I use this industrial double-faced tape. Both on this, I could actually maybe even pull the piano down. The double-faced tape is so strong. Now, it will come loose if you work it a little bit, but it's very strong. And same thing with the Airport Express. That's held down with double-faced tape, and so is this power supply, and this power supply here. And what that enables is that everything's nice and tight. You don't get any vibrations. And just so you see what I'm talking about with the LED lights here, if you see this piano over here, let's walk over here. So let's say you want to know if your piano is on. So you come down here, and right there you'd see you'd be able to just bend down, you'd be able to see the lights on. If they were on here and facing down, you'd have to get on your back and look up. So that's why I put these this way, and some people have said, well, you know, it's not really supposed to be like that. Well, you want to know something? It makes it a lot easier for you if you want to look down and see if it's on or not. So that's that. Now, next thing I want to talk about is what I do with the keys. Now, if you look over here, this is a sensing strip for the Pro Record system. And what happens is that the keys go on here, and then these little eyes, they trigger on what basically is reflective tape that is put on underneath the keys. Well, one thing about the reflective tape, it's tape. It has a tendency to maybe fall off. This is the reflective tape right here. See? So what they had wanted us to do is put each one of these on each key, and then when the key is put on the key frame, those little eyes, you know, sense when the key is coming down. It senses the 3 parameters of MIDI, which is note on, note off, duration, velocity, sensitivity, which is volume. So what I did is I went to the auto parts store and I got me some chrome paint here. Okay, so what I do is just spray the bottom of the keys with the chrome paint. How nice that it goes on, really nice. And I got it taped really well, so there's not going to be any paint going on the keys themselves. So I tell you one thing, it's a lot quicker than using reflective tape, and it's never going to fall off, and it saves a lot of time. So this is where the reflective tape goes. So anyway, I'm trying to think if there's anything else that I want to talk about with this. Oh yeah. Another thing that we do is that the sensors for the pedals are here. And one thing that you have to see is that they have a built-in guide that lets you know how far off the reflective paint it's supposed to be. And so that's how these set up. The camera could film it from the side here, get the profile, you could see it. So this is supposed to rest right on the wood there. So every time this goes down, it triggers. That's basically how that works, and you can see my reflective paint there. And so the wiring goes up into here. It's nice and hidden. I drilled a hole here so it goes up behind, and then you have a very, very clean installation here with wires not flying all over the place. I'm very kind of proud of it. And even my Airport Express power cord here, just like it came out of the box. So that's pretty much it. I hope you enjoyed this little tutorial on how we do our installations, and thank you very much for watching.